Welcome to Yogaxpress, your virtual stretch clinic that helps you move the body to still the mind. My name is Banu Suresh. I'm your host for this program. I'm also going to be the only person stretching on the mat right here. I've kept one spare mat for you. So those of you who are stretching with us at home, remember you can always walk in on the show. You can always come anytime. You can even come halfway through the show. You get a wonderful stretch, you go home feeling like you have another 24 hours in the day. That's how I feel every time I go back after my tapings. Here's the plan for today. I'm going to take you through a few more breathing techniques. In the last couple of episodes, 2 episodes ago, I taught you a few breathing techniques. I'm going to demonstrate a few more breathing techniques, and then we'll see if we are going to actually do the sun salutation, the complete round today, because in the last episode, or I believe it was about 2 episodes ago, we did not complete the sun salutation. We got timed out. We're going to complete it today. Although I think you get the gist of it now. Whatever you do on one side, you have to complete on the other. So we'd already done one side when we got timed out. Of course, I tried to finish the other side on my own. I want you to be able to experience that too. And once we're done with the sun salutation, we're going to move on to complete the prone and supine postures that we did not finish in the last episode. So that way, over the last 3 episodes, 2 days ago, yesterday, the last episode, and this one, between these 3 episodes, you've had a full workout. So if there is any period of time, any day in your week or in your month when you have, say, a couple of hours, even just 1 hour, you could do the whole thing, all the breathing techniques, the sun salutation and the 48 postures, all in that 1 hour. That'll be 1 continuous hour, and you can go feel really wonderful about it because you've done a great workout. Do that twice a week and that's all you need. Otherwise, give yourself about half an hour every day if you can. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to first, before I move on to the breathing, very quickly, I want to reintroduce my third title, Yoga Secrets, which has about 2 plus 8 ailment-specific cards inside. So you've got 8 ailment-specific cards for the 8 common ailments. Most of them, as you know, are a result of constipation, which is a result of bad diet. So you want to be sure that your insides are nice and clean all the time. Take lots of fiber, feel good. If your motions are clear, you'll feel good in body. But also, the other ailment that affects all our mental illnesses is hypertension. Hypertension causes blood to rush to the head. So you need all the calming postures to help alleviate or to delay or prevent hypertension altogether. So here's what we're going to do. I'll take you through in fact, I'm going to use the help of some of these cards for some of those breathing techniques. There is a breathing technique called Bhastrika, and Bhastrika simply is bellows breathing. Bhastrika literally means bellows, and it's simple. You have to just imagine that your lower abdominal region is like the bellows. You know, the old-fashioned bellows that ironsmiths used to use to make maybe shoes for horses, the horseshoe. I don't know, if you're very young you may not know any of that, but I do remember a time when bellows were still being used. We would use it for cooking in our coal stoves at home. So it's just a bag of air. So you're going to just think of your lower abdominal region as a kind of a bag. So you move your breath, you move your muscle in and out so that your breath goes in and out through the lower abdominal region. And for this breathing technique, I'm going to use this foam block. I'm going to sit cross-legged because it actually gives me little height in my torso, and because this is the lower abdominal region, I want to make sure my torso is nice and lifted so I can do a more effective breathing routine. So let's try that. Now remember, you are doing conscious inhale and exhale through the abdominal region. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to sit cross-legged. I've given myself some height. Palms are on my knees. Palms are facing up, thumb and index touching. Now, if you are new to this breathing technique, you may want to place your hand in your lower abdominal region. If you think you're comfortable, do what I'm doing. Stay with me, sit the way I'm sitting. It'll give you the most benefit for your breathing. Here's what I'm going to do. Inhale. Now these inhales, forceful inhale and exhale, they're known as strokes. So the aim is to go for about 30 strokes a minute. So if you can take one inhale and exhale, so one inhale, 1 second, 30 strokes a minute would give us two seconds for a breath, right? 1 second, you take the inhale, 1 second for the exhale. So 2 seconds per breath, and it should be rapid. So we're going to do that 2 more times. Remember, we've done one for the universe, there's one for you, one for me. You may want to use a napkin to clear your nose. You don't want stuff flying out, so you want to be careful. You feel nice and clear. And you may notice as we move on to different breathing techniques that each of these breath techniques actually target a different region of the body. So this one is for the lower abdominal region. So just like our physical postures, this is a breathing technique that has an amazing effect on our body when you're feeling constipated. You just want to make sure you give yourself a massage in the lower abdominal region through this breathing technique. Let's try that one more time. I'm going to start off slow like a train engine moving out of the station, picks up speed and then chugs away really fast. So this is the last round of Bhastrika, which is for yourself, for myself in my case. Make it your best. Inhale. In the beginning, when you've not had enough or if you've not had enough practice for a while, you've been out of touch for a while, your muscles will feel like they're hurting. But that's okay, hang in there, because over a period of time, you'll start picking up speed and your body will get used to the rhythm. You will want to go at a very even pace. I did the demo at 3 different paces just to show you that it can be done at different paces. Ideally, you want to move as rapidly as you can to achieve 30 strokes a minute. I'm going to take you through, now we're going to put that aside. Kapalbhati is a very powerful breathing technique, so we want to do that later. Shanmukhi Mudra or sealing gesture. It simply means you're actually sealing all the nerve endings in your face, for which I need to take my fancy glasses off. Index fingers above the eyebrow, middle finger at the base of the nostril or just below the eyes, ring finger above the upper lip and little finger below the lower lip, and the thumb is on the ear. So move your elbows out. Now we are actually going to combine 2 breathing techniques, Shanmukhi and Brahmari. Brahmari is bumblebee within just this one gesture. Earlier I used to teach you 2 separate techniques, but this one actually does a very good combination. So we're going to combine the 2. Now don't press into those nerve endings. So the index finger is to close the optic nerves. The middle finger is to close the olfactory nerves for the nose. The ring and the little fingers close the nerves that actually move our mouth, our jaws. And if you notice, the upper jaw never really moves, it's just the lower jaw. And then the thumb closes the nerves that lead to the ears. So before we close them, we're going to take a deep inhale, press in, and then release with a humming sound. If you've been really observant, you may have noticed as I release my breath with the humming sound, my lower abdominal region is trying to go all the way in. So what you want to do is make sure you clear yourself of all the air, get all the air out. So make your breath last as long as you have lung power. So let's try that 2 more times. Inhale. Press all those points very gently and then release with a hum. One last round. This is for yourself. Make sure it is your best. Inhale. Press in. Release. Now that should already make you feel really relaxed, and the reason for that is, if you recall in the last episode, we talked about what chanting really is, and we're not really chanting here. These are just sounds. But chanting itself is repetitive sounds, and repetitive sounds have a way of clearing the mind of negative debris. And that's what's happening. When you release with that humming sound, you're repeating the same sound, the sound, over and over. And that actually helps clear your mind, clears your head, not just of negative debris this time, but also just removes all those cobwebs in your mind. So you are nice and level-headed, nice and clear. You can think well. You can go ahead with any project that you have with full concentration. This is a very simple but very effective breathing technique. We've already practiced the Ujjayi. Let's try 2 other breathing techniques. There's Shitali and Shitkari. Shitali is cooling of the tongue and Shitkari is cooling of the teeth. Now we're going to try the Shitali, or cooling of the tongue. What you want to do is make a little tube, almost as if you have a cigar in your mouth. Make a little tube with your tongue, stick it all the way out, and we're going to suck in the air through the tongue so it cools the insides of the tongue, but really in your mind you're channeling that air, that fresh oxygen, all the way down your spine, all the way down to your sacrum, to your low back. This is, once you get used to this technique, it brings a lot of relief from low back pain. And try it at home. You don't have to believe me. You try it. If it works for you, stay with it. If it doesn't work for you, work on it a couple more times. Don't give up the first time. If it still doesn't work, move on. Try another technique that might work for you. So make a little tube. So Shitali. Pull in and release. So you release with your mouth very gently open, and it's a gentle exhale till you run out of air completely. Let's try that 1 more time, and this one is for you. And release. One last time. This is for yourself. So this is for myself in my case, and you want to do this for yourself. Make it your best and most effective. Shitkari is actually a very amazing really amazing technique to help bring diabetic relief. Now, this is not something that I'm claiming. I'm not a doctor. I understand that yoga masters over the years have tried it on people with diabetes. If nothing else, you will at least help create more saliva in the mouth. And as you know, if you're diabetic or if someone you know is diabetic, your mouth tends to dry up very fast. And that's what you want to do, is keep your mouth moist all the time. That said, before I move on into this Shitkari breathing technique, I want you to remember, or at least recall, what we said in some of the earlier episodes. In the face, there are 4 regions of the face. The mouth and the eyes always need to stay moist. The nose and the ears always need to stay dry. Now, these are little tips that I throw in every now and then, but remember, they might help you in the long run. They can be very useful. So let's try Shitkari. The tip of the tongue touches the ridge of the upper teeth. So this time you're making a tube that's probably going sideways inside the mouth. So it's an imaginary tube going sideways. So touch the tip of your tongue on the inside of the upper ridge of your upper teeth. Inhale through the sides. Close and release. That round was for the universe. Now, let's try one for you, my neighbor, my viewer. This last round is for me. Hold. Release. Now we've already combined Brahmari. We're going to take you, we've done Ujjayi, so we've done about 9 breathing techniques already. I'm going to teach you 2 more. That 9 includes the Om sound, which is not technically a breathing technique, but it definitely helps regulate your breathing. If you count, instead of counting sheep, you could be counting the A, U, sounds, the symbols. I'll take you through a posture called, this is the one I was saving for you. It's called Kapalbhati. Kapalbhati is simply forceful exhales, and for this you definitely need a tissue, and especially if they are winter months when you're trying this posture, this is one of the most effective breathing technique. Especially for winter, it generates a lot of heat, not just in the body but also in your skull region. In fact, you might feel a little lightheaded at the end of it, but also winter months are the months when you really want to take care that your nose is absolutely dry. Now, you want to make sure that you are able to exhale forcefully, which means you want to sit comfortably. Now, I'm sitting up all the way, so my torso is lifted. I'm going to continue sitting in this one, even though my feet are almost going to sleep, but that's okay. I can wiggle my toes and get the blood moving back again. Take a deep inhale. Now, this one is especially good for relieving arthritic pain. So what you want to do is see if you can channel this, as you take the forceful exhale, see if you can channel your breathing technique, your insides, your mind. Take your mind to the biggest weight-bearing joints, your knees. Now, you can take it to any of your joints. Arthritis hits us in any of the joints, and as we grow older, it becomes more and more frequent. But if you can just channel your energy to the knees for the sake of this episode, for the sake of this practice technique, take a deep breath in. When I visited India during 2012 winter, I had about 45 students in the class, and each one of them was able to teach me something different every day. We had a 6-week workshop. It was amazing. It doesn't matter how long you've been practicing yoga, how much you have learned, and it applies to everything in life. It doesn't matter how much and for how long you've been learning something, there's always room to learn more. And that only happens when you keep your mind open. So you want to be receptive to knowledge. So learn what I'm sharing with you today. If you have something to share with me, please email me. It's Yogaxpress, info@yogaxpress.com. Now let's try this 2 more times. The second time, the second round is for you. And for this one, maybe I'm going to take my brick off for just a moment, give some relief to my ankles. It is a lot of pressure on the ankles, especially as we grow older. Take a deep inhale. One last round, and this time this round is for me, so I want to make sure that I do the best. At least in the last round, I want to make sure that I can get the most out of this breathing technique for my knees, because I really do need it. And like I said, some days are better than others, but also age is something you cannot challenge. It's going to come on all of us. Deep inhale. Although my strokes were not as many, I was trying to stay consistent. But I think because I got off of the brick, I didn't get the maximum advantage of my lower abdominal region. So see if you can, and my ankles needed a bit of relief, so I got off the brick. But see if you can take a break between your breathing techniques. Because this is a show, even though it is taped, it's a bit hard because it's live to tape, so we don't edit. So I cannot really take a break, but it's a good idea between breathing techniques to take a break. And that way you get the most out of your breathing technique, especially for yourself. One last technique that I'd like to share with you. It's actually a posture. It's called Simhasana. Simha is lion. And here's what you need to do. You want to come on your hands and feet. Let's come down on your, did I say hands and feet? On your hands and knees. So your palms directly below the shoulders, knees are directly below the hips, your toes are curled in. And here's what you're going to do. And if it feels weird, you can close your eyes. Now, I'm going to pretend there's no one. Well, I really hope there are lots of people watching and learning, but I'm going to pretend there's literally nobody around me. And I'm going to keep my eyes open for some time. But after a while, I get a little carried away, and that's when I close my eyes. I might do that. But keep your eyes open if you want, if you can. Take a deep inhale and then stick your tongue out. Now you need to do that 2 more times. Now that is not a very comfortable or not a very pretty posture to be in. So I'm going to make sure that if I need it, I have a paper towel right there. And this time I'm going to close my eyes and see if I can go a little bit faster. Take a deep inhale. Now I counted, I believe, about 16 strokes. So when you really go even faster, some of you may be able to go up to 30 strokes a minute. I don't think I was really timing the time, but I believe I did up to 16 strokes. Let me try and let's see how far we can go together in the 3rd round. This one is for myself. Deep inhale. I believe I may have done 32, but not exactly in a minute, but that's okay. I've tried to exhaust my lungs and the abdominal region of as much air as I can. I know I cheated just a little bit, but sometimes you're able to do it in one breath. Sometimes you may need to take in a little more air, but see if you can stay with just one single breath. I'm going to try and see if we can let's complete the sun salutation, and maybe we're also going to be able to do the prone and supine postures today. So let's all stand up. I'm going to come up. We're going to see if we can complete the sun salutation, at least the sun salutation today, the proper way. Heels are together, so I want to shake out my legs, bring some blood back into my ankles, loosen up my knees a little bit, palms in front of the chest, elbows are raised. That's to help me stay in the moment. Now, I usually, when I practice at home, and I have to be honest, I haven't been very regular in the last 6 months, actually in the last 3 months. But when I do practice at home, I try my best to start my physical practice with the sun salutation. It really helps, because if I don't have much time beyond that, I'm good to go for the rest of the day. Inhale, take your arms up. Tighten your buttock muscles to protect your back if you're going back. Exhale, fold from the hip. Palms 6 to 8 inches in front of the mat. Take one leg and then the other. Exhale, press your heels down. Inhale, bring your left foot between the hands. It looks like we just have a minute today again. Both hands on the left knee. Exhale and dip. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, dip your right elbow over the left palm on top of the right. Turn to look up at the raised elbow. So think of this as doing the other side, what we left off 2 days ago. And you can do the prone and supine in another episode. Let's switch legs. Take the right leg back. Take the left leg back. Bring the right foot forward. Both palms on the right knee. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale. Dip your left elbow over. Right palm over the left. I can hear the closing sounds. I'd like to thank our crew, Drew Taylor. Thank you very much for hanging in there. This episode is taped at Manhattan Neighborhood Network.